Hi and welcome to Angling For You. Today Jeremy, a very windy, shouldn't be out fishing, insane Lindholme Lakes, and we are on the Beaches pond. Went to the first fish, and a small F1, and what we're doing is fishing the ICS system from Preston Innovations. I'll just get this fish in and a nut. So the best thing about fishing this system is it allows you to adapt your method with sort of any system you want. So today we've got on the Jura Banjo feeder, and we're fishing this with ground bait, and in line with this we've got another feeder, which is the method feeder, and this is a flatbed feeder, and we're going to be interchanging those depending on how things go. At the moment it's super windy, and the Jura Banjo is allowing me to shell round that bait, which is allowing me to cast a little bit far a distance. Now I've got Champions feed ground bait today. This is the yellow sweet, and I've laced this with 4mm pellets, fishery pellets at Lindholme, and I've got some hemp through there as well, and some sweet corn. Now the bait today, it'll be a mixture of sweet corn and pellets. For the hook bait at the moment I'm using a 6mm on a band with a KK&B size 16, and we're throwing it over to the other side towards the reeds. Now normally when you're fishing any pond that's like Beaches, where both anglers from either side sort of meet in the middle, you can't throw obviously to the other side because obviously that's their peg. But at the moment with the COVID-19 we're only fishing odd numbers, which allows me to fish across to the reeds at the other side. Now that's an important thing to take an advantage. Again, it's using a feature. Now obviously a lot of these Lindholme Lakes venues are stuffed full of loads of different F1s, massive carp, and a whole bunch of other varieties including barbel and chub. So you know, anything, the good thing about fishing these lakes is you don't know what you're going to get when the tip goes round. So like I was saying, taking advantage of an open or a spare peg can really be devastating, especially when it gets towards the later end of the day. Now we're around the 12 o'clock time, which is not really what they call fish o'clock. It usually from 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock onwards, the fish sort of move around the edge, but we've got a lot of swirling wind and it's pushing it into that corner, and that's why I'm making some casts across to the reeds at the other side. So it is important when you're fishing in these windy conditions, like I'm doing, and I'm on a raised pallet as well, is to have the tip as close as you can get to the water, and that eliminates any of those false bites and the rod being blown around and giving you false indications, and you're keeping that line under the surface of the water, which is keeping the toe off the tip, and it's keeping sort of air drag. If you've got your feeder up too high, it can make seeing bites and sensitive bites quite difficult. Not that these little F1 bites are usually that sensitive, they normally pull the tip round, and you know, it really is good fishing at Lindholme because, like I said before, you just no idea what you are going to fish with, and the ease of fishing with the ICS system, which stands for obviously the interchange system, means that you can fish a variety of different methods. So I've got some maggots obviously with me as well, and those maggots I can use with a maggot feeder later on. If I want to switch over to a maggot feeder, I can change my hook link to a smaller hook with maggots on, or I could put a bunch of maggots on there, or I could fish to a quick stop corn, which I've also got the opportunity to do. Now at Lindholme they do like the pellets, but they do like the corn as well, so I will probably be interchanging between both of those today. Into another fish. Lovely quick bite, and again it feels like another one of those little F1s. And this is another thing when you're fishing commercial lakes, and especially sort of ones like Lindholm, and I see it a lot. People just leave the rods, and I tell you now, these little ones, they're only little fish, but they'll easily take your rod in, and I've seen it so many times. This is where, guys, a 4 metre landing net handle comes in really good when you're fishing these elevated pegs, and you know, you're fishing up high, allowing you to get to the fish a lot easier. Clip the back wind off. And again, they're not massive fish, these F1s. You know, sort of a pound upwards usually. But the good thing about Lindholm and sort of many lakes like this is that they're continuously stocking it. And so if you want just a nice day catching sort of F1s and anything that swims, it's a great venue for that. So just taking that 4mm pellet off, let's get another one banded on. So it's a good practice, guys, when you are doing your feeder, and you've played a fish. Always just check your hook link, make sure your band's sat properly and your bait's all right if it's still on. It's always good practice to just take that, make sure it's not tangled around your feeder or anything like that. And these gusts, you really do have to time your casts because they're swirling gusts today. So once you've got the clip on, it allows you to just sort of feather them in a little bit. And you want that tip straight under, no messing about under the water. It's going to put a massive bow in your line if you don't. Into another small F1 again. And the plan today, obviously, is to show you this ICS system. We're catching a few from there, and I've got a lovely edge down my left, and is to have that baited up and to switch over to a method, and we'll have a go down there and see if we can catch. And this is only a small little chubbling, but by the look of it, he really wanted that pellet. A little chubbling. So what we'll do is we'll get that bait down the edge, and we'll see if we can swap over to the flatbed method feeder, and we can have some fish down there. Right, guys, again, it's I do apologise if we're struggling to hear. I can only just hope that the microphone's picking up my voice, because it's truly horrific today in regards to wind. It's not too cold, and it's not, but it's just fairly overcast. But it's yeah, it's just that wind, man. It is it's savage. Right, okay, so the ICM system. So we're going to slide the Jira banjo off, and we're going to put a flatbed feeder on there, and obviously the line goes through the slit on the back like so, and then we just pull on the tube, and we're going to change the hook link on this one as well to, I've got a size 12 with a double corn and a quick stop, and that's what we're going to use, just because I'm trying to target the bigger fish. It's not to say that we're going to catch the bigger fish, but we'll try as best. Might be a bit early, but so we've got the flatbed on now, and as you're seeing, it's got the double corn. Now I'm going to underarm this down my left hand side. I want the feeder to sit flat on the deck, and I've not put the feed into it. So when I fish margins, I don't always do that. I like it because we're feeding. I feel that they're usually quite on it, so I like the bait to be sort of free but right next to it. So it's going to be a bit interesting because it is very windy. So it's just take your time, wait in between the gusts. Just want a little underarm swing. Just got a little underarm swing out there. And still sink the line as you normally would. You got to be sort of ready for these. If you do, I mean, I'm not guaranteed. There's no guarantees today, but they usually, if they're down the edge, they're quite close. Can be an explosive bite, but I've got, you know, the rod's right next to my knee. I've got a hand straight on it. Just means that you've just got to be that little bit extra on guard. The drag's set medium, sort of, not too light, but not too stiff either. And that allows me to sort of pull him away from the snag. I can tighten up if I want to, but then a piece of advice is always loosen your drag off once you got them out, because a lot of fish are lost under the rod tip where people forget to slacken that drag off and the fish dart down and ping you off. This is an 020 hook link, 'cause it's a short hook link to a size 12 KKMB, and a slightly longer hair so I can fit 2 corn on there. And like I say, we might be too early for down the edge, but this is the comfort of being able to swap these and the interchange system around for different scenarios. And you know, obviously I've got maggots with me. You know, I could drop it onto a maggot feeder if I wanted to do that. A lot of people fish with the pole and sometimes discard. There we go. We're into a fish. And like I said, it can be a very, very deadly method. And I always give it a go if I've got the method feeder out. It feels a little bit better stamp, nothing big. It feels like another little F1. Nothing mad. They always go off absolute bedlam. Yeah, it's a little bit bigger than the other ones that we've had. So maybe the £2 mark. Atrocious net in there. Well, we'll give it another go. There we go. So a little bit better stamp fish, which is nice. Nice and giddy. He's giving me my hook back, so that's always a bonus. I'll try and get under a little bit of control. Hold him up for you. So about the £2 mark. We'll get him back in and see if he's got any bit bigger ones out there. But certainly welcome. And just show you how easily you can sort of catch those fish and change around your system. Yeah, we could use a Jura banjo in there if you wanted to, and you know, have the similar success. But the reason I like the flatbed is just the way it sits when it's down the edge, and the way it's presented. I just really like that it's just how it is. And also, if you think about it, we were fishing to the edge pretty much over the other side anyway. It's only a similar scenario to what we were doing over there, just closer in. We've got two quick stops back on, 2 quick stop corn back on there. And again, we're just gonna double skin the feeder. And you can use a mould for these, but I like to do it by hand. We've got the corn ready, doubled on, and we're going to go with the same scenario, a little underarm tuck down the edge, so take your time, wait for that gust of wind to go, and just that nice little underarm. Make sure you sink your line like you were doing before. And it's nice, you know, when you've got these windy conditions, casting far's not always the option for you. It's not always viable to do when it's super windy. And, you know, we were quite accurate with the cast we were making. But just to show you that, you know, you can fish down that edge and catch just as well. And also short as well with the feeder. Now, if you were fishing normal match conditions or normal conditions where there are people on the side, you're only able to go halfway anyway, so the fish are used to it on venues like this. Right guys, we're into a little bit better fish now. It's going for a good old run down the right hand side. It's important to have your drag set to let the fish run, because there's a good chance that, you know, you're hooking them down the edge. They're going to be half decent, some of them. I don't think it's a particularly massive fish, just a little carp, this one. See if we can get this in and we can have a little go through the gear that we're using a little bit better and a bit closer. Nice little fish, and it's in the net. Just click that back wind off. That's another little tip: when you click your back wind off and just trap it under your bum, you can ship your fish in, no problems whatsoever. It's just tangled over the line. Where's he hooked? Just in the corner of the mouth. Perfect, just where you want him. Just drop that down there. So nice little fish, around sort of 4.5 pound, 5 pound mark, I'd say. Nice and giddy. There we go, beautiful. Let's get him back in the net and we'll get the camera zoomed in close, and we can have a little chat about the rig and see how we're getting on. Okay, so for the whole feature, I'm going to go through all the different things that we've used. So I'm just going to put this one to the side. So we started off on the Jura Banjo. So I like the Jura Banjo when I'm casting a lot more distance. I think the wings on the side just keep the bait in a lot better and make it a little bit aerodynamic. So that's what we use for casting over to the other side. And we used a mixture of two baits, but one of them was a 6mm with a MCMB size 16, and that's on a 020 line. And I also had a size 14 on 020 KKMB hook again, this time, sorry, and we had that as a quick stop, and that was a single corn that we're using over the other side. So now, going on to this one, just filled it full of maggots. We've got the flatbed method feeder. Now, this one is obviously interchangeable in, like I said before, in the ICS system, which we just slid this one on with the same stem, and it's just your standard flatbed ICS feeder. And then we've got a 4-inch hook link, and we've got a size 12 KKMB this time, and that's got a longer hair with a double corn, and that's allowing us to obviously get in these bit bigger fish. Monster X carp feeder. It's a 10-foot this one, and it's with a 3000 inertia reel, and it is M-Tech MIDI line, and it's 8 pound, and I love it. I've got 6 and 8 pound, and it's fantastic, really good. And like I said, this jig, it's got a front drag, so it's really good to allow those runs like you've seen. And I'm sure we'll catch it one maybe a little bit bigger now that the carp are starting to turn up. So that front drag's really important. If they start to go like that one did to the right, then you just need to let them go and then tighten it up. But it's important, like I said, slacken that drag off when you get them under your feet, 'cause so many people crack them off under the feet purely on that exact scenario that they go for a bolt. And even if you have got a soft rod, If you're able to take the line, you're not going to lose half as many fish. So jump back on the box. We'll get another one chucked down there and see if there's any bit bigger, and fingers crossed we can have something else. Into another fish. Nothing massive this time. I think just an F1. Oh, it's just a nice little F1. Looked perfectly in the mouth as the others have been. We'll get this one straight back, see if his big brother's there. Something a little bit bigger this time. I still don't think it's massive. Taking a little bit of line out this one. And this is what I'm saying about getting them down the edge. It's not a massive fish, but certainly biggest stamp we've had today. Taking advantage of that silky drag. Still going. It's gone right to the other side of the pond. And you see, these rods are so soft and the action's so nice on them. You almost sort of don't know what size they are. And obviously this one feels a bit bigger than what I originally thought. We'll hopefully get him in. He's gone miles away down there, right down there. Keeping that steady pressure on him. He's gone all the way to the other side round the corner. And this is where you got to allow a fish to go, and it's a good fish actually. It's an absolute wedge of a fish actually, and it's a lot bigger than I originally thought, but it just proves to you what I've been saying about down the edge. It's a good fish. Not double figures, but he's getting up there, that's for sure. Let's get him unhooked. He's perfectly hooked in that top there, just rolling round the line, but perfectly hooked inside the mouth. Let's get that hook out of the way first. That's size 12, fantastic, doing a fantastic job. And I'll just turn around with him because I don't think we're going to able to see him from that camera angle. But he's a lovely fish. And this is what you can catch down the edge on the method, and this is where the ICS sort of system works fantastic. And I'm just going to try and get this in a better position because I don't want, if he does jump, it's so windy, if he does jump I just want that net underneath him. You got to think about that, guys, fish safety wise. The good fish these, and as you can see, lovely standard of fish. I'm going to put him back because I don't want him to jump out and injure himself. Let's get him back in the water. And what a fantastic fight and a fantastic way to finish the video. So it's just a fantastic complex is Lindholm, and there's tons and tons of ponds to go at. Obviously you'll get a better day than this, hopefully, wind wise, but the ICS system really good, and that's changing it between each sort of way that you can adapt your fishing throughout the session. If I want to fish maggot feeder now and go for F1s, or silverfish, I can do that without changing the whole rig. I can just slide that feeder off, put the new one on and put a new hook link on, and we're ready to go. And that's what we've done there. Slid a flatbed on, and that's what I was trying to say to you. I like it to sit nice, and it allows those fish to come in and eat the bait off the top. That nice size 12 with a double corn, nice and steady out the peg, and a lovely fight. That drag sets nice and soft, and that's what I mean. If you set that drag nice and soft, it allows them to swim out the peg. You're not disrupting your margins. And you know, all we did is once you can feel that they're starting to get ready to pull back, just tighten up a little bit and then pull them round, and you know, we got it in no problems whatsoever, straight into the net. So yeah, absolutely fantastic. So join us on those Facebook groups at 7 o'clock on Fridays for those live streams, a bit of interaction, ask your questions, and just generally at the moment we've been doing a roundup of the week. We've been on furlough, we're doing a lot of fishing, so we've been doing a roundup, and then on the Instagram @Anneling_for_you at 8 o'clock. We haven't done for a couple of weeks, but by the time this goes up we probably will be back on track, but we'll be doing them on there as well. And yeah, like, share, subscribe if you can, guys. Tick that little bell icon, it'll notify you when the next videos are coming up. Thank you for the support as always. Until the next one, guys, thanks a lot. Tight lines.